Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Gavel Gang Podcast, an insight into the collections we get here at Ewbank's auction house in Surrey. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Gavel Gang, and today we're coming from the Castle Gardens, Guildford, in Surrey, and I'm here with Andy McInnes, aka Andy, who was the creator of the Vapors artwork for Turning Japanese, the single.
And the logo.
And the logo. Oh, right. An additional bit of information there. Andy has very kindly consigned to auction a bespoke one-off banner of that artwork, which is being auctioned for charity in our entertainment sale in August. So I'm here to talk to him a little bit about that, how it came about that he did the artwork for that Guildford band all those years ago. So over to you, Andy. What can you tell us about the Vapors, your artwork, Guildford, in no order? How did that come about, you doing the artwork for Turning Japanese?
Well, basically I came to Guildford in 1978 to go to university. I only lasted a year, dropped out, basically on account of the Vapors, really. I met them in early 1979 when they did a gig at the university, and I was very taken with them and started talking to them, somehow fell in with them.
Reprobates, were they?
Reprobates? No, they were jolly nice chaps, actually. Well,
what is Guildford?
No, good working class lads, basically.
Ah, the Vapors, they're new wave rather than punk, is that right?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, they weren't punk.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's that element to what they did, you know, the energy. I mean, live, they were absolutely amazing. Now, I have to say, they were better live than what ended up on record. And that's no disrespect to them.
Back then, there were these venues, so you met them at the uni. So how did it come that you did the artwork? Because now, I think it'd be very hard for someone to say, oh, our mate will do it. Because the record company would be like, no, we've got people to do that.
Oh, I was up against it
even then?
With the art department, yeah.
So you were already an artist then? Were you working
I was a scientist.
Oh, right. So
I was doing microbiology, but I was arty as well.
Yeah.
Do you know, I really can't remember exactly how it came about. I suppose I kind of blagged it.
Yeah.
I just sort of said, oh, I'm good at drawing, you know. Yeah, I really don't remember exactly, but I know that once I became friends with them and started going around in the transit to all their gigs with them, you know, they were kind enough to kind of take me under their wing. Yeah, it just sort of happened. I really don't know how.
So that was a pretty big hit, because the charts then, you had to sell quite a lot of records to get in the charts. Now I don't think you have to sell many, or downloads or whatever it is. So there were a lot of 7-inch singles with that sleeve pressed. You don't know how many, do you? Because I remember seeing that as a kid, long before I ever met you, in Leicester, and distributed all over the world, your artwork. All those little 7-inch bits of paper.
All over the world. Was it number 3 in the UK?
Oh, that high. That's pretty amazing for them.
Yeah, number 3 in the UK. I believe number 1 in Australia, New Zealand, and a couple of other territories. I wish I'd got residuals on it. I got 100 quid for doing it, which in 1980 was probably a couple of weeks' wages, really. I mean... Yeah,
it's not all about the money. Would have been nice if you got...
It's not about the
penny
money,
for everyone. But...
Art for art's sake.
Oh, that's a different band, 10cc. You didn't do it. Yeah. So the Vapors had a pretty successful career, still going, got their fans. And how did it come about that you recreated the artwork on this huge banner, which looks fantastic?
It was in Ben's Collector's Records.
Well-known shop here. People come from miles around for him.
I found out that there was going to be a book talk at the Guildford Rock and Roll Book Club, first event. I don't know if there's any more coming up. And I got introduced to this chap, Graham, who was organising it, and he was very interested in my history with the band, etc. And then he said, oh, could you paint a backdrop for the night? And I said, yeah, okay.
That must have taken quite a while looking at it. It's not an evening's work, is it?
It took 6 days from drawing it all up, planning it all out, to actually doing it.
That's pretty good going.
6 days work, so...
Yeah. Well, it's reflected in the banner, which is coming up for auction. I can't wait till it goes live and see how interested people are. Obviously, they've got quite a lot of fans around the world. And what's the charity it's going for?
Bowel Cancer UK.
Let's hope it gets some high bids come the day.
I hope so. So all you Vapors fans out there, start bidding. I believe the guide price estimate is 300 to 400.
I actually can't remember right now, but it'll all be on the
All
site.
will
It's
be
something like
with
that. Whatever it is, it's well worth it. It's completely unique. It's a one-off.
It's worth more than that.
It's worth more than that. 6 days' work.
6 days' work.
Even the labour.
Easily 800 quid's worth of work.
You might have to have quite a big wall space to hang it.
Yeah, it's, what was it, 2 metres by 2.5 metres, something like that.
Yeah.
It's single bed sheet size.
Actually, I've got a nice picture of you on the night stood by it, so we'll make sure that's on the listing.
Yeah, that would be good.
So yeah, details to follow. Check the Ewbank's website. So yeah, an exciting lot coming to the music memorabilia in August.
Yeah, just remember, artwork done by the original artist and signed by the original lineup and the 2 newest members.
Right, so it's got the full complement.
Full complement, yeah.
Great. Well, nice to meet you, Andy. So we'll check back in after the auction.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
Cheers, John.
Keep rocking.
Yeah, keep on keeping on.
Right, let's just take in a bit of the gardens, Andy. So from the Vapors to more modern art, contemporary art and editions, coming on Thursday 25th of July here at Ewbank's, and I'm here with James Gadd.
Hello.
Hello James, what can you tell me about this forthcoming sale?
Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. Probably simplest to just start talking about things as we go along. First of all, we have Hockney, A Bigger Book, which is a vast volume covering 60 years of his work and art he's produced. This one we have in the sale at 1,000 to 1,500, which you should easily do, because this one does retail sometimes at £4,500. But interestingly, besides the book itself and the very stylish stand, we also have Hockney's smallest book, 6 Fairy Tales, which is alongside it, so there's a lot of contrasts for you.
Yeah, that book is so big, the one you first mentioned, it does seem to come with its own bespoke stand. It's
does,
sort of a viewing platform.
Perspex top and primary coloured legs, which are rather stylish, and the stand was designed by Mark Newton.
That was going to be my guess.
Good.
Okay, let's move over here.
The sale, we have a couple of works by Nancy Bailey, who painted mainly in Cornwall, so they're very West Country sort of harbour and estuary scenes. Rather nice. They've done well in the past. We have some very big portraits which are part of a corporate collection, which are by a Canadian artist called Tyler Shores. They are rather big, so it is a little bit of a toe in the water to
I like
see
the
how
style.
they do.
It's a sort of very exaggerated feature. The facial style is quite sort of...
They are, but I mean, I think, with the group or the pair portraits, we've got, a couple of elderly couples who've clearly got a lot of love and affection between them. And then my personal favourite, which is of a young boxer hugging his mother, wearing his boxing gloves, which is, I think, rather sweet.
I'm 6 foot tall, and I think that's about 6 foot tall,
Yes,
from
about
floor
that,
to
about
just
6 by 4
just a
probably.
little under.
So
Wow.
amongst the other things, slightly more representational art we have a number of pictures by Moira Huntley, again some of them sort of West Country and Welsh views, and we also have some John Blockley still lives, which again are very appealing. Traditional subject matter, but in a much more modernist style.
Yeah. This is what's this lovely large abstract piece?
It was not quite abstract, but it's by a Polish artist called Satowski, and it's entitled Peter Pan. But as it's certainly slightly odd, with the sort of life-size child with a little boat full of tiny people.
Oh right, I like this. This thing he's holding makes me think of the Venice. What's it? The masks.
Yes, the Venice Carnival. Yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of sort of imagery going on there. We also have some urban art here by Mr. Brainwash.
So this looks like that film was it called 300 or something?
That's not
Gladiatorial.
Mr. Brainwash.
No.
These are Mr. Brainwash.
Oh, okay.
These two and that third one there. That one is called For Tonight We Dine in Hell, So hopefully that
It's fairly hellish. I wouldn't want that to be the last thing I saw before I went to sleep. It's not a bedroom wall piece. Not for me.
No, this is for while you're dining in hell, I think, rather than when you're going to sleep.
Who's it? Is this Mr. Brainwash? I like this one.
No, this isn't. This is Peter Blake.
Peter. Oh, that's why I like it
Yeah,
then. Peter Blake of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Exactly, and this image is at Horse Guards Parade as a collage of figures and personalities in the foreground. We have a John Piper lithograph of yellow flowers, which is rather striking but a bit unusual compared to his normally architectural subjects.
So lithograph, just while you say that word, whenever I see a lithograph print, it's always very nice quality. Is that the printing style, a lithograph?
Yes, a lithograph is essentially a print made not using a copper or a steel plate, which you would use in an engraving. It is using a stone plate, and a wax design on the stone plate determines where the ink is not. So obviously the wax would repel the ink, but the plate would absorb the ink. But with a colour lithograph, there would be a number of stone plates, each one layering, if you like, a different colour into the picture.
So is it synonymous with quality? Because it always seems to be quality when I see lithograph.
There are many qualities of etchings and engravings and mezzotints particularly, but they tend to be a more sort of 18th and 19th century medium. But lithographs tend to be more of a 20th century thing. But I mean, the quality is subjective, really.
So it's just one other type of printing.
Types. We have here 2 Raymond Campbell still lives. He is particularly well known for his wine bottles, wine glasses, and blue cheese.
The blue cheese looks like you could reach out and eat it.
It does. That's a very crumbly piece of Stilton, I think.
It looks so three-dimensional.
And in the second one, less bottles of wine, but we have some grapes on the cheese board, and more crumbly blue cheese. A roll on what looks like Ritz cheese crackers.
Could be Ritz.
Yes.
I'm glad we can't smell the cheese. How about you? I'm not a big fan of blue cheese.
I'm a huge fan of
I
blue
want
cheese.
to be. I feel like I'm unsophisticated, and I hope it will come to me.
Unsophisticated. Sometime I must get you some stinking bishop to
I'm up for that challenge.
Good.
Oh, Citroen 2CV there with a romantic couple.
That's rather a nice one. That one is by Nigel Mason.
That's very nice. Has a sort of look of car adverts of the time, TV advertising.
It does, and
like.
the figures are slightly like the Glaswegian artist Jack Vetriano.
Right, who I have seen.
Yes. Here we have a rather nice view of the park at Titsey Place, which I believe is Kent. It's certainly not all that far from Croydon. I think it's the top corner of Kent. Beautiful parkland. That's by Julian Barrow, who is quite known for architectural subject matter. We have a number of Giclée prints after Cherie Valentine Danes. Very decorative ones of scenes at Ascot and children playing on the beach.
Yeah.
And very much in the same sort of vein, we have these Barclay oars. I think it's Muriel Barclay. We have a girl with a violin, a girl and a ballerina. Again, sort of highly decorative things.
Come with us to the staircase.
There is something which is slightly of interest. We have a collection of works by an artist called John Stockel, who was a film poster and designer. Poster artist and designer.
Had some of his bits in Entertainment Sale before. Right. Very interesting.
So he varies from completely abstract, one collage, one oil painting abstract, a very impasto sort of sun over a cornfield here, a number of very representational watercolours of scenes, mostly in Lavenham in Suffolk. But interestingly, this one here of the mansion, that is 40 Hall in Essex, where funnily enough Sunday's Antiques Roadshow was from.
Oh.
So I recognised it straight away when I saw it on the television. So there's quite a mixture there.
Yeah, I like this. It's on the face of it, it's just very commercial, simple, but it's charming. This cottage in the snow with the moon.
And you'll notice with all of them, with his signature on that, it's a very bold, stylised signature.
It is.
At the bottom of the stairs there, we have another urban artist. This one is a Spanish artist.
Well, Lisa Simpson is there.
No, that's actually Maggie.
Oh, Maggie. Oh, I haven't watched it for too long. I'm showing my ignorance there.
Maggie with the holding a gun, but there is love. There are also sort of stencils of Alfred Hitchcock, Pluto, Bugs Bunny.
Oh, the more you look, the more you see going on. There's Bart.
Exactly.
Now it seems to be painted on what looks like floorboards or something.
Yes, they're planks. They're some
Planks.
loosely put together planks with a neon light spelling love.
All got Mickey Mouse in there as well.
Yeah, and the artist is Javier Melua, Spanish, born 1961.
Very striking piece. I'd like to see that plugged in, see how the neon lights up.
Yes, I think you need an adapter looking at the plug.
Yes,
there.
that's a European plug, isn't it?
It is, yes. or a shaver socket plug.
Oh, what's this at the top of the stairs? These Thames River scenes, Wharf, Butler's Wharf. I like this sort of industrial
Limehouse,
looking.
yes, these are not by a particularly well-known artist, but they are just very good commercial subjects of the Thames riverbank in London before the vast redevelopment which we've seen today. I mean, I think when you see photographs today of the City of London compared with 50 years ago, the number of tower blocks in the background are quite extraordinary. But there's one there of Limehouse.
Yeah, I have a book at
Wapping.
home that compares pictures from the 30s of all of the wharfs to pictures, I think it's from the 90s.
Yeah.
And even then, it was quite a difference. But they have kept a lot of them, and many of them are now apartments.
We also have a collection which came in fairly last minute, which are drawings by the criminal Charles Bronson.
So also, were these done while he was incarcerated?
I presume so, and they're all quite sort of tortured subjects, really. Some of them quite disturbed, but there seems to be an interest in.
They've certainly got a character. I quite like them.
I think these are probably ones you wouldn't want hanging over your bed when you
No,
go to
maybe not.
sleep either. Or maybe you do, I don't know.
Definitely interesting.
We have two little pen and inks here by Timothy Marwood, who illustrated Thomas the Tank Engine. That one is obviously Thomas.
And the Fat Controller.
And the Fat Controller. The one here, I don't know the character, but is presumably something like Hetty the Helicopter.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that looks familiar. What's this large, turbulent, looks like what do you call it when it's two different pieces like this? Not a triptych.
Diptych.
A diptych. Okay, maybe I could work that one out in time.
But this lot 2073 is, I think, by Sky Holland, who is contemporary. This is, as you say, a diptych. It's very much meant to be hung this way around because you can see the rather abstract swirls go in a very particular direction there, but with a very sort of silvery background. So I think you've got to have the right space for that.
Well, there's some very striking three very bright coloured pictures here on the wall. I would call them, no, I'm not going to say abstract, I got that wrong earlier.
Yeah.
But they are illustrations.
They're illustrative rather than illustrations. They are, colour-wise, they're almost sort of psychedelic. We have one of a man playing a guitar, we have one of a couple sitting dangling their feet in a swimming pool, and we have a beautiful head study of a cat, all in very bright colours. These are by a young contemporary artist called Luke Spooner, who as yet hasn't sold at auction, but hopefully will have done come Thursday. I think they've got some potential. I think I find them very appealing, and I hope others will as well.
I was certainly drawn to them. Yeah, lovely.
Good.
Great. Well, I like this fairly odd cricket picture. What's going on here?
This is attributed to Peter Unsworth, and it's two players on a cricket pitch. The Piccadilly Gallery held an exhibition of Unsworth's work in 1965, which followed the theme of cricket, hence the attribution. Can you tell me who this is after?
Turner.
Claude Monet, not even close.
Oh, I meant Turner of Bachman Turner Overdrive.
This is lot 2145.
Now, is that the Seine? The Seine, the River Seine.
The River Seine, no, that's Westminster.
Do you know, my first thought was, that's the Thames, and I thought, that sounds too obvious, I'll try and be clever.
You failed there, didn't you?
All counts.
Utterly failed. This is by John Myatt, who is quite a famous faker. This isn't actually an oil painting. This is a giclée print, which is basically like a colour reproduction on canvas that has been hand finished over the top with some paint and hand finishing. But this is, the view is actually Charing Cross Bridge. So that is the silhouette of the Palace of Westminster in the background.
Got a steam train going over the bridge.
That one is in the sale at £300 to £500. We do already have a bid on that one. But if you want a sort of semi-impressionist picture, this is obviously ideal.
Yeah.
In the one above. Now, where do you think that one is?
Well, that is London. That's no, hold on, let me get this right. So there's some Doric columns here, am I right?
Well, I think they are Doric columns, yes. But where is it in London that you're guessing it is?
It looks familiar. It is.
It is in fact the Chevaux de Marly, Champs-Élysées, Paris.
That was actually my next guess was Paris. Well, thanks for that, James. I'm glad you're in charge of the art department and not me. I don't know the difference between Lisa and Maggie Simpson and London and Paris and gouache from oil.
You should
Great.
get out more.
I shall come to your department more. Thanks, James. Thank you for listening to the Gavel Gang Podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please subscribe and take a look at the Ewbank's website for more information on this and upcoming auctions. Until next time, going.